A forward question that has confounded humans for centuries. Are they out there? Or more to the point, are they somewhere around here? Well, the Trump administration is ordering the release of reams of government documents on UFOs. Mark Strassman explains what on earth it might all mean.
At night, when we look skyward into the cosmic dark, is something looking back? Former President Obama recently suggested, yes.
Are aliens real?
They're real, but I haven't seen them, and they're not being kept in, what is it?
Area 51?
Area 51.
But wait a minute. Wasn't it Obama that also said this?
Your facial expressions here, every twitch, everything, and of course, so did you look? Did you see? Did you explore?
I can't reveal anything.
Oh, really? Because President Clinton said he did go right in, and he did check, and there was nothing.
Well, you know, that's what we're instructed to say.
So if that's what you're instructed to say, was it a slip-up? Did you, by any chance, go against protocol? We have to find out, people, because supposedly President Trump was asked about what Barack Obama said, and you're going to see what President Trump had to say about that. It sounds like Obama was supposed to keep his mouth shut. So what exactly is going on? Let's get into this. Here we go.
Tonight, President Trump is directing government agencies to release files on UFOs, aliens, and extraterrestrial life. He's calling on Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth to release, quote, any and all other information connected to these highly complex but extremely interesting and important matters. Just days ago, former President Obama told the podcaster he believes aliens are real, but has never seen any evidence of them making contact with humans.
Hey there, Patriots. This is TrueOutlawPatriot coming at you with another one. This video that I'm dropping tonight is definitely way different than any of the stuff I have ever done. Okay, so I want everybody to bear with me. I just wanted to touch on it because it's been circulating all through social media of this whole the UFO disclosure topic that a lot of people are very interested in, and it seems that all of a sudden is gaining traction because of supposedly that podcast that Barack Obama decided to participate in, and he made that comment. But little did anybody know that it was going to reach President Trump's ears, and President Trump has something to say. Now, that video clip, this one I just showed you on the news, that's just a short snippet, and, you know, as usual, it's less than a minute. This is the way the news has been covering it, but I do have a longer clip of I believe it was Channel 7 News that basically they asked President Trump on Air Force One about this, and he had something to say. And like I said, I don't do content like this. Okay, there are many good YouTube content creators and other social media content creators that cover this kind of stuff, even though I'm very intrigued by it. But I figure, you know what, let me pull back a little bit on all the political stuff. There's so much political news going out there, so I wanted to do a topic on this and just slow things down a little bit on my end, and I hope that you guys will check this out. And if it's something that's gonna basically gain traction on the news as we go, I might have to do a second video on this. But I found it very strange that because every president is always asked this question, okay? And one thing that one of the other reasons why I wanted to cover it was because of some news that was circulating that has to do with Greenland, okay, where President Trump wants to acquire Greenland, and people are saying, you know, as President Trump is saying, it's for for security purposes, but there's people online saying that one of the real reasons is because supposedly there's like this big spacecraft that's buried under the snow in a part of Greenland, and what they're basically trying to do, since they can't transport it because it's too big and they can't break it apart because they don't know how to, they basically want the military there to basically cover it up, for lack of a better term. Okay, I don't know how true that is. Those are some of the stories, coming out. I'm not gonna say conspiracy because I'm not gonna insult anybody like that. Me personally, I do believe in aliens. I have my own experiences. If you want to believe it or not, that's up to you. I know what I believe in. I'm pretty sure you all believe in what you want to believe in. But I just find it kind of strange that during Trump's first presidency, it wasn't really a topic. But since Obama came out, was it a slip up? Or was it something that he thought he can say? Who knows? But it's basically like I said, it caught the president's attention, and it's beginning to be a wildfire on social media about this. So who knows? And there's another, I believe, Stephen Greer. If you don't know him, go look him up. He's the one that puts out the alien disclosure videos out. He claims that there are a few spacecrafts that are so huge in different countries that they don't move them. What they basically do is build structures around them in order to close them in. So like giant buildings. So there's all kinds of stuff going on. People are going to have to look into that. But with that being said, like I said, I just wanted to cover this right now. I'm going to show another news clip so you guys can see for yourself what President Trump has to say. But before I do, don't forget to comment, like, share, subscribe, and pass the channel around. With that being said, let's get to the next news clip. Here we go.
Could aliens be out there? Ever since I was a kid, I was fascinated by this. From E.T. to Close Encounters of the Third Kind. And now Steven Spielberg has even directed an expected blockbuster movie coming out in June called Disclosure Day. You're wondering why we're breaking in to talk to you about this on the stream. Could that be happening already?
And I apologize. It was Steven Spielberg, not Stephen Greer. But Stephen Greer also does the disclosure of videos and stuff to that effect.
A lot of developments just in the last 10 days. And tonight in a Truth Social post, President Donald Trump now says he will direct the federal government to release any and all government files related to, quote, alien and extraterrestrial life and UFOs. But it was another president who may have renewed interest in this as well. The president's announcements coming just a few days after former President Obama said on a podcast that aliens are real. What? Yeah, take a listen to this clip from the Brian Tyler Cohen podcast.
Are aliens real?
They're real, but I haven't seen them, and they're not being kept in, what is it?
Area 51?
Area 51. There's no...
This caused a fever. Obama later clarified that he saw no evidence of that, and he wrote this on Instagram, quote, I was trying to stick with the spirit of the speed round, but since it's gotten attention, let me clarify. Statistically, the universe is so vast that the odds are good there's life out there. But the distances between solar systems are so great that the chances we've been visited by aliens is low, and I saw no evidence during my presidency that extraterrestrials have made contact with us. Really? Exclamation point. That was what former President Obama said. Now tonight, here it is, President Donald Trump announcing new action. He wrote on Truth Social, I'll read it to you, quote, based on the tremendous interest shown, I will be directing the Secretary of War and other relevant departments and agencies to begin the process of identifying and releasing government files related to alien and extraterrestrial life, unidentified aerial phenomena, and unidentified flying objects, and any and all other information connected to these highly complex but extremely interesting and important matters. God bless America. And earlier today on it...
Okay, I got to cut into this real quick. I don't know, people. I really don't know. Like I said, I don't do content like this. On my own time, I dabble and look into, different stuff when it comes to, like, alien life and stuff like that, and stories and, stories that people put out, different experiences. I don't know what to make of this, in all honesty. I know that right now, from the little bit of research I've been doing the past 2 days, there's a lot of people talking about this, but then when you look at a lot of the comments on a lot of the videos that are being put out, right away you have people saying that, oh, this is just a deflection because of what's going on and the Epstein files and what have you. But then, I really don't know what to say about all that, because I really don't see it being a topic that is basically superseding that topic. But it makes you wonder, is it time You know, is this the time now? Is President Trump the one that's going to shed more light on this for people to understand? Is it the time now in our history where this truth has to come out? You know what I'm saying? I mean, it can't be ignored. Okay? But then again, it makes you wonder. Another thing, at least it makes me wonder, why not the first time around? Was it something that wasn't really of interest, or is this happening now because Barack Obama opened up his mouth and said what he said, and now it's like, okay, well, if people are going to believe what he's saying, now they're going to expect President Trump to bring it out, you know, and either put it to rest, or basically give the people what they want. And in my opinion, listen, like I said, I believe it's true. I think it's a disservice to humanity if people are trying to keep it, people that have been trying to keep it a cover-up. I'm sure that there's different reasons why they want to do it. Me personally, I don't think this whole thing is a good thing. I don't believe that all this alien life and all these how can I say, all these scenarios and situations that people talk about, to me, it's not a good thing. I truly believe, and I know maybe a lot of you may get upset with me, that's fine, but this is my belief. I believe that all this alien life and stuff like that, I believe that they are demons. That's what I believe. Okay, I don't believe that they come in peace or whatever the case is. And if there are any good ones out there, I believe that maybe it's not, that they're basically being kept from us. You have to remember, God created all. Okay, so I'm very, how can I say, I'm very doubtful. I guess that's the right term to use with all this. But I just needed to say that. Let's continue.
Air Force One, the president was asked about Obama's podcast comments.
Well, he gave classified information. He's not supposed to be doing that. You know?
So aliens are real.
You see that right there, when he came out and said, well, he gave classified information, he wasn't supposed to do that. So that right there tells me that they're admitting it's real. So then why have they been keeping it from us? And again, like I said, is President Trump going to be the one to say finally, okay, you know what, enough is enough? I mean, look at the strides that he's making with revealing the deep state, revealing a lot of things that people, want revealed. I mean, this is something that a lot of people got to think about. This, again, is this the time in our history right now where all this has to come out? I'll rewind just a little bit.
He gave classified information. He's not supposed to be doing that.
So aliens are real.
Well, I don't know if they're real or not. I can tell you he gave classified information. He's not supposed to be doing that.
Well,
he made a big mistake. He took it out of classified information. No, I don't have an opinion on it. I never talk about it. A lot of people do. A lot of people believe it.
That was before his Truth Social.
Okay, now you guys know that I never talk negative. And if I do, it's something I disagree with, but I never talk negative about President Trump. Okay, I support him 100%. I'm gonna say right now, when he came out and said that he has no interest in it, okay, I understand that, but he didn't say if they're real or not. But at the same time, he says that Obama put out classified information. I'll have to disagree with him. This is probably going to be one of the very few times that I have to throw back a little bit. I truly think he knows something, but he doesn't dabble into it. He's like, I'm gonna leave that alone, even though I have the power to find out, but I'm gonna leave it alone. I wanna pay attention to what's going on here on Earth. Okay. But now that Obama opened up his big mouth, he's like, well, now I'm gonna have to send somebody to look into it, and who knows what's gonna come out of it. In all honesty, I'm not saying that. See, I gotta be very careful what I say. If he does send Pete Hegseth to look into this, and he comes back with something negative, we all know it's a lie. But is he doing it just again, to keep it away from people because we're not ready for it? Or are they going to give us a little more? Because like I said, this is a time in history that it should be coming out, and President Trump is the person that's going to wind up giving us the truth.
Post. Whether aliens exist has been a fascination for Americans like me for decades. And public interest really picked up again in 2017 when a group of former Pentagon and government officials started leaking these Navy videos of unknown objects to the New York Times and Politico. That led Congress to hold the first hearings on UFOs in 50 years. That was in May 2022, and they've had a lot more since then. But officials said that the objects in these videos were likely drones. So will we now see new files released, and will they change what possibility that there is alien life? And it's interesting.
You know, and it's funny that he says that, because if anybody remembers the whole drone incident a year and a half ago, whatever the case was, when they were flying over New York and New Jersey, whatever, and then President Trump had to come out and put his thoughts on it and say, you know, and he basically said, you know, they're not ours, but that the military knows where they came from. Okay. So, you know, when it comes to this topic, it's like that there's so many people giving answers that it's hard to it's kind of hard to believe who's telling the truth. But if there's one thing we know about President Trump, you know, for lack of a better term, he wants all the smoke. You know, he wants to be the president. You know, especially when it comes to being the first president to do X, Y, and Z. He wants to be that, you know, he wants to be that president. So I would have to think, and maybe I'm going back on, you know, on what I said, but I would have to think that that he is going to do it, that he's going to be the one to say, you know what, here you go. But then, me personally is not how I react to it. How does the rest of not only the United States, how does the rest of the world react to this? People that didn't want to believe it, and now they're hearing it. Because believe it or not, there's a lot of people in America that you cannot convince them that this is true. They just don't want to believe it. Okay? To them, it's like believing it means that it changes their whole life, religiously and politically and socially. Me personally, like I said, I've had my own experiences. So to me, it's always been, you know, when is it going to happen? When are they going to bring it out? When are they going to start telling the truth? It's, I don't know. It's crazy.
There was a debate yesterday on one of the local channels for the Senate race, and Raja Krishnamurthy, the congressman who's on some of those intelligence committees, was asked about disclosure. And he talked about it and said he's seen classified documents and there should be more transparency in government. Democratic Congressman Jared Moskowitz today retweeted Trump's post saying it's time for disclosure. There have been a lot of hearings on this, including one just last fall in mostly the House, trying to discuss what these UAPs are. Those are what they call UFOs now, aerial phenomenon, the UAPs, what they are. And in those testimonies at Capitol Hill, these were decorated members of the military, a Navy pilot who saw that TikTok video. You probably remember that. It was on a drone camera or on an aircraft camera. They testified before Congress under oath that what they saw was nothing like anything that they have seen in the air before. So it's got some steam now, as now President Trump is talking about releasing all the files. That's why we wanted to have a short discussion with you. What do you think? Follow us on.
Well, I mean, I think Obama opened up a can of worms when he came out and said on that podcast he was talking, when he was asked, are aliens real? And he said, yes, I just never seen them. So either you had an experience that you believe they're real, which that wasn't the way that the question was answered, or you've seen classified documents that says that they're real, you know, and obviously you just haven't seen actual bodies. Either way, President Trump coming out and saying that, you know, that was supposed to be classified, and then finishes his answer by saying, you know, he doesn't he doesn't, look into that much. In other words, like he doesn't be bothered into it. I think Obama pretty much let the cat out the bag, even though a lot of people talk about it. As a matter of fact, I believe Marco Rubio was part of one of those intel communities where they had, investigating what they say UAPs and UFOs and all that. If I'm not mistaken, and I know everybody knows Podesta, part of the Clinton, whatchamacallit, during the Clinton era, he was part of that investigating. So who knows? Maybe if Obama didn't slip up or come out with that answer, this wouldn't be catching steam the way it is the past couple of days. So we'll find out. Like I said, if more information comes out, I'm definitely going to keep a close ear to the ground and see what President Trump has to say. And I'll make another video on this, and we'll see. We'll see what happens, people. Maybe this is it, people. Maybe this is the time right now. Like some UFO enthusiasts are saying, that 2026 is the year where they're going to have full disclosure and basically put all this, to bed. Not really putting it to bed, but basically just letting everyone know that we're definitely not alone. So we'll see. But anyway, that's what I got for you. Don't forget to comment, like, share, subscribe, and pass the channel around. And if you can help support the channel, there's a link in my description to my Cash App and my merch store. So remember, people, stay vigilant, keep praying for each other, keep praying for the women and the children, pray for this country, pray for your enemies, pray for President Trump, and don't forget to pray for all the missing children that they brought across the border. Peace.